Hello learner, welcome to this video lesson. Today we are going to discuss another important topic of your course. Today's discussion topic is creativity and its educational implications. Before starting our discussion, let me to introduce myself. I, Dr. Niradhar De, Associate Professor, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, welcome you all to this video lesson. Presently, we are in the 16th module of your course. The title of the module is Understanding Socio-Psychological Attributes. Under these socio-psychological attributes, 6 different lessons are there, just like intelligence and its educational implications. Then for the aptitude and its educational implications, already we have discussed in our earlier sessions these two lessons. And today we are going to discuss another socio-psychological attribute, that is the creativity. What is the concept of creativity? What are the different phases of creativity? What is the theory of creativity? And further, what is the educational implications of creativity? And further, we will be discussing another 3 lessons, that is motivation and its educational implications, attitude and its educational implications, then further personality and its educational implications. Let us focus upon some of the learning outcomes of today's lesson, that is on creativity and its educational implications. I am very much hopeful that after watching this video lesson and after going through the content, the e-content which is given in the 16th module, you will be able to first of all name different socio-psychological attributes of the children. Then you will be able to explain the concept of creativity as a socio-psychological attribute. Further, you will be able to describe the theories of creativity as a socio-psychological attribute. Then you will be able to discuss different phases of creativity, how it develops. Then further, you will be able to describe the educational implications of creativity as a socio-psychological attribute. Now, let us focus upon some of the attributes of creativity. Just to recapitulate that in earlier sessions also we have discussed. Just to link with the earlier session, let me to say that these are the certain psychological attributes. They are just like intelligence, aptitude, creativity, motivation, attitude and personality. Okay? And these are, you can say, a type of mental operations, and it is also related with our behavior. Okay? So, when we exhibit ourselves, when we express ourselves and when we involve ourselves in doing certain work, when we involve ourselves in certain mental activities. Okay. So, it includes 3 types of work, you can say. It may be cognitive, it may be affective, or it may be psychomotor. Okay. So, that is why we will be requiring intelligence, aptitude, creativity, motivation, attitude as well as personality. And these attributes that somehow help the individual or the child or the learner to develop a complete personality. Okay. We have already discussed 2 attributes, that is intelligence and aptitude, and now let us focus upon creativity. Let us try to understand the very concept of creativity. Friends, any sort of novelty, invention, scientific thinking, aesthetic creation or any art that involves rearranging of previously experienced elements, previously experienced things into new configuration is an act of creativity. Friends, many a time you must have observed that the articles that we are using, time and again its configurations are just changing. We are just adding new configuration with the earlier applications. Okay. So, how it happens? It may be a type of novelty, you can say. It may be a type of invention, you can say. It may be a type of scientific thinking, or if it is related with the affective domain, we can say certain aesthetic creation is also come under this. I can just give you certain example, just like at the present time we are using social media. Okay, it may be Facebook, it may be WhatsApp, it may be YouTube, and it may be other media also. And you must have realized that time and again the Facebook management, then the WhatsApp management, what they are doing, they are just adding new configuration, they are adding new application to the earlier developed app, to the earlier developed instrument, okay, or to the earlier developed programs also. So that is why this is the act of, you can say, creativity, where we observe certain things, when we use certain things, and we realize that what are the new things it should be added, okay, and that is just we involve ourselves in rearranging of previously experienced elements into new configuration, that can be understood as an act of creativity. Further, creativity is within the realm of each individual, depending upon the area of expression and capability of the individual. Friends, you try to understand. Every individual is having his or her own ways of thinking, own horizon of thinking, and own ways of understanding. Let a person work in the field of science and technology, other person work in the field of developing aesthetic knowledge, developing aesthetic you can say certain sense. So here it may be science and technology, it may be related to art and literature, it may be related to art and craft, and further it may be related to certain social science related activities, okay, which are related with our society, with our community. Here every individual is having its own realm and his or her own understanding and own jurisdiction. Okay. So, accordingly they develop, accordingly they think, accordingly they create idea, and further they try to materialize that idea. So, that is why you can say that a similar type of creativity will emerge with everybody. Okay. So, that is why everyone is having its own understanding and limitation. According their limitation, according their understanding, they create certain types of ideas, and that may form further as a type of new innovation, and that we call as the creativity. Further, all children should be given equal chance of expression, but we must not expect that each child to be equally creative. Okay? You can't. Being a teacher, we shouldn't think that we shouldn't practice, or we shouldn't you can say expect that all child will come forward with a similar type of creativity, because individual difference is there. So, this is also a type of mental operation so far as individual difference is concerned. Further, we can say that so far as the categories of creativity is concerned, I can say that creativity may be understood in 4 different categories. First is creativity from individual point of view. I have already said that every individual is having certain or a type of creativity, certain sense of creativity, individual differences are there. So, that is why we cannot expect that all individual will exhibit, all individual will come forward with a similar type of creativity. Okay? And further, the another categories that we can say that creativity can be explained by the way of mental process, how we involve our mental process, how we involve our attributes, mental attributes to understand the situation, to understand the thing, to understand the element, to you can say categorize the things, to analyze the things, to synthesize the things, then accordingly to come forward with certain new innovations, certain new things. And further, creativity is also another type of creativity, is also it is the product of environmental influence, at the same time cultural influence. Friends, in the environment where we are living, in the environment where we are coming in contact with the people, the things that we observe in our day-to-day life, the experiences that we gain from our immediate environment is also influence, is also a product, is also a factor for developing our creativity. Okay? And further, the cultural influence is also there. That means we are living in a culture, we practice in a culture. So, that is why from the starting of our you can say early age of life, the things that we observe in our culture, the things that we practice in our culture, that also further lead us to do certain creative work, okay, to be to come forward with certain newness, certain novelty, and accordingly that may take the form of a type of creativity. Now, let us try to understand the very definition of creativity. I can give few definitions and further we will try to understand the very concept of creativity. First of all, according to E.G. Sichel, creativity is like hunger and drive within creative person who thinks creatively in order to return to the state of equilibrium. So, it is a type of conflict or it is a type of association between hunger and drive. Okay. If we have the hunger, then accordingly to satisfy the hunger, we will do certain drive, we will do certain action. Okay. So, for doing the action, we will use our thinking process, and if hunger is a problem, so how to solve that problem? So, whenever there is a problem, then our mind, our human mind will engage to solve that problem, okay, and our mind will engage to come forward with certain solution, okay, to solve that problem. So, that can be done in a creative way also. Many a time for solving our different problem, we think creatively and we come forward with certain new innovations, with certain changes. Further, as per Carl Roger, we can say creativity as a curative forces to enhance self of a person and to actualize his or her personalities. So, it means first of all it is a curative process, means we want to solve the problem, and this is for to enhance our self of a person. First of all, we understand the things, we realize the things, then the potential force, the potential energy that we are already having with us, we engage, we utilize our potential power to solve the problem. Okay? So, the individual abilities which is in a potential form, that you can say our thinking process, our intellect and our mental traits that help to re-energize, that help to come to a force or that help to transform the potential abilities as functional, as action oriented. For the creativity as an expression of sound and integrated personality by way of self-actualization. Try to understand, it makes a person self-actualization, and it also a type of expression that helps for developing a sound personality and an integrated personality. This definition is given by Abraham Maslow. Now, let us focus upon very quickly, very briefly some of the theories of creativity. First of all, creativity thinking is construction of gestalts or the patterns. As per the gestalts schools of thought, we can say, let me to explain it with one example. Just like a problematic situation is grasped as a whole by establishing the links among all elements of the problem. As soon as the links are made in conscious, the solution is arrived at resulting harmony from stress. Here the child has to think in one consistent line, but a Gestalt school does not explain how a child has to ask original question. So, try to understand here. As per the Gestalt psychologist, they said that when we create a problematic situation for a person, okay, and the person will try to observe the situation, observe few minutes, few seconds, few moments of that problematic situation, and accordingly the subject will try, accordingly the person will try to establish a type of link, to establish a type of association, that by synthesizing the things, how the problem can be solved. Okay. So, first to grasp the whole, first to understand the whole, that means the wholeness of the situation, the problematic situation, then to establish the links among the all elements of the problem. Okay. So, what are the different elements are there and how the elements are linked with each other. Okay. So, here as per the Gestalt psychology, we can say that the well known experiment that we do, if there is a closed room, a chimpanzee or a monkey is there, and there is a bunch of banana that hangs on the roof, and there is a stick, you will find that let two sticks are there, one is a big stick and other is a small stick. Then if the monkey or the chimpanzee is hungry, the chimpanzee or the monkey will try to get the banana. So, how the monkey will get the banana? So, first of all the monkey will observe the situation, the wholeness of the situation, and the monkey will observe that yes, certain stick is there, he will use his intellect, and what the monkey will do, the monkey will use the stick, and as I have already said that two sticks are there. First the monkey will try to reach at the banana by using the first stick, and if it is not possible because two sticks are there, using a single stick it is not possible to reach at the banana. So far as the distance of the monkey and the banana is concerned, then the further what the monkey will do, the monkey will, it will come to the mind of the monkey that I can use the another stick. Okay. So, the monkey what the monkey will do, he will take the second stick and somehow the monkey will try to join both the sticks, and easily the monkey will reach at the banana and he will consume the banana. So, in this way, so far as the Gestalt schools of psychology is concerned, so if you will create a problematic situation, then the subject will behave in that situation, and this is also a type of creative things is going on among the subject, that how to solve the problem. Further, if I will give the example or if I will discuss the theory of creativity, as per the psychoanalytic school of thought, it can be understood with an example, just like the psychoanalytic school of thought explains creativity as the product of conflict between the id and ego in unconscious mind before one must keep expressing himself or herself for his or her emotional well-being. Try to understand, it is nothing, it is just the you can say experimentation or just realization of the id and ego. Id is the unconscious state of mind and ego is the conscious state of mind. Okay. So, here or we can say ego is the subconscious state of mind. So, there is a conflict, there is a continuous conflict between id and ego state of mind. Okay. Id is you can say negative in type, id is a type of unconscious state of mind and it is the negative instinct. But in ego you will find that there is no negative instinct, but a conflict goes on between these two instincts, id and ego, between unconscious and subconscious. So, friends, here creativity, the development of creativity is possible when there is an exercise happens between id and ego, when there is a type of conflicts happen between id and ego so far as taking a decision, solving a problem by the individual is concerned in different situation. And very briefly now let us focus upon the phases of creativity, how creativity develops. So, what are the different phases that are responsible for the development of creativity? I can say that the phases are that is the first phase is the first insight, then preparation, then incubation, then illumination, and the last stage is the verification. Now let us focus upon the first stage, that's called as first insight. In the first phase, so far as creativity is concerned, an idea must be generated in one's mind that something is to be done. Further, I can just give you the example. Long before John Milton wrote Paradise Lost, he had an idea to write an epic poem. Try to understand. So, for developing a creative thinking, first of all, certain idea should come to our mind and we should engage ourselves to think upon that idea. And when we will think upon that idea, then certain ways will come forward with us. We will get certain solution that how to materialize the idea that comes to the mind. So, emerging an idea, coming an idea to the mind is the first insight so far as creativity is concerned. And further, the second phase is called as the preparation. In this phase, you can say for generating the idea, the creator gets into intensive reading, discussion, questioning, collection, and exploration. So, friends, many a time when the subject, when the creator, when the child engage with intensive reading, reading the literature, going through the history, then discussing it with the peers, with the friends, with the teachers, with the seniors, okay. And when the child is questioning, whatever questions come to his mind, her mind, and further when the child try to get the data, collect the information, and when the child involved in the process of exploration, then at the same time he or she also creates certain new ideas. So, that means first you have to prepare your mind for generating certain new idea. Further, I can give the example so far as the phase preparation is concerned. A painter must sit for days on the hillside observing different shades of lights, filling them off in his memories and emotions before he or she expresses them on canvas. Try to understand. You see, the painter, they create good painting. How it is possible? This may be because of observation, continuous observation of the natural scenery, the nature, continuous observation, the things which is happening, which is going on in our environment. This is because to prepare our mind first by observation, then after to do the things, to come forward with certain new things. Then the third phase is called as the incubation. Incubation is just like immersion in the subject matter is essential condition for creative thinking. Many a time after ideas comes to your mind, what you are doing, you are just simply going deeper into it and you are just thinking about that ideas, means how to come forward or how to work on that idea. That's called as the stage of incubation. Matlab becoming very cool, becoming very calm, you are just thinking about that ideas, that to give a shape to that idea. That's called as the stage of incubation. When the mind has done working consciously, giving all sorts of frustration, the creator gives up thinking. Further, it is the time when the ideas go underground, making unexpected connections before their emergence. Incubation may come in 6 months, 6 hours, 6 minutes, or at any time. That means when you coolly think about the idea in the stage of incubation, then you will find that it may take little time, but there is the possibility to get a sudden flux of certain light, sudden flux of certain solution of this problem. But the incubation stage is to nurture here, to nurture the ideas and to think over the ideas in a very calm state of mind. Further is called as the illumination. Illumination occurs in a spark of thought that lights the variety of the ideas. It was after long years of tireless work. If I will give an example, One day in 1685, Newton saw an apple falling in his garden, which he turned into law of gravitation. So, by observing the things, it is the sudden flux of the mind of the Newton, and he realized that it is because of the law of gravitation, and further he developed the theory of gravitation. So, illumination is the sudden flux of light, the sudden flux of the solution of this problem after preparation of the mind, after getting the ideas. Further verification is the last stage, means after the sudden flux of the mind, then how to verify the knowledge. Okay, so that's why it is the difficult phase of refining, altering, correcting and communicating the idea that came in a spark. Newton spent many years in verifying his theories. So, friends, the knowledge at a sudden flux that you get, so how to verify it? So, for verifying this knowledge, you have to alter it, you have to experiment it, you have to correct it and you have to communicate it. This is called as the verification to for the authentication use of it. Now, let us focus upon some of the educational implication of creativity, especially in the teaching learning process for the teacher and at our home and the community for the seniors and what the parents should do. First of all, in the school, teacher must encourage students' original idea. Teacher needs to create this equilibrium among the students' mind to develop curiosity. And every time working or doing equilibrium may not come forward with certain creative abilities. So, that is why many a time this equilibrium situation may be created for developing certain curiosity among the mind. Further, teacher needs to be developed an inquiring mind in students for developing, that is called as inquiry based learning, project based learning, problem based learning, so that the learner will engage in psychomotor development, learner will engage in developing or creating the things. Further, teacher should create an atmosphere to make the students ask questions and to satisfy their queries. Then self-absorption is essential for novelty, origin and influence, and further novelty can be achieved with hard work or perseverance. Friends, now let us focus upon some of the practice questions. I am very much hopeful that after going through this video lesson, now you are able to answer these questions. First of all, what are the different socio-psychological attributes? Define creativity as a socio-psychological attribute. Describe the theories of creativity and further describe different phases of developing creativity and discuss the educational implications of creativity. In our next lesson, we will discuss another topic from your course. Thank you.